Hey guys, welcome on to Fine for People. My name's Grant Goes, and today we're going to go back and have a look at 2019, what happened, the best of and the memories. And I've got the brothers here to help me go back through that. We've been a bit of manic before we started, but now it's all calm. So yeah guys, leave comments, leave questions, ask questions about what your favourite memories were or what something you want to find out about 2019 in the fitness industry. That coming up in moments, straight after this.
Nook is the region's first dedicated co-working space focused on helping sports and wellness entrepreneurs set up their own business. We have permission to issue up to 200 trade licenses across 40 different trading activities. You can work from any of the surfaces around us. We also have a mind-body studio as well as a functional training studio. I think the talent pool is growing. One of the unique things about Dubai, you have kind of an east meets west when it comes to sports. Dubai is a great window into the rest of the GCC. We've been very fortunate to work with different UAE authorities to get people to play more sport and to be more active in the UAE.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fine for People. The platform helps you find the best in health, sports and fitness. Today we're talking about 2019, the best of in the fitness industry. We're going to take a look back at the highs of just what has been a really developing country as far as initiative, trends, products, people, services, concepts that have all come into the region over the past 12 months. So I've got a great team that's going to take us through it, and probably they're going to start to share their memories. That's how we'll start this off. But starting with my direct left here, we've got Orlando, a great physio, and he's been hugely around on social media a lot. You may all know him as Coach Boom. You see him stand up paddleboarding, you see him cycling, and bro, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Just going to let him touch the mic for a second, that's about it.
This is my first time to be on live right now. So yes, my name is Orlando Aragon. Been in the fitness industry, mostly in the rehab sectors, doing some coaching in CrossFit, in terms of like, whoa. So, been in the industry for almost 2 decades now.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and beside him to his left, Coach Suleiman, who's he's been a trainer here for years, and he's also a trainer you'll see on social media lots. What is your hashtag? It's
Dubai personal trainer.
Yes,
very simple.
He's got the big one. He's got the main one in there. And Solomon's actually done something very, very cool throughout 2019, and he'll tell you a bit more about that. Oh man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I think it's an incredible initiative, what you're doing, spreading the word. And obviously everything is online these days, you know. So yeah, 2019 has been a massive year for everybody. So it'll be great just to, touch base and see what people have been up to.
100%. And then the far end there is a great mate of mine who we actually met back in New Zealand on the golf course. I'll just quickly throw in there that I did beat him that day, I think. It was a long story by now. Anyway, this is Nathan Brown, who's also running AIKARO, I'll explain a bit more about all the different things that AIKARO has.
Yep. Hi everyone. Obviously, welcome to this live stream. Super excited to be here. Obviously, just a little bit about my background. I've been here in the Middle East since 1998. Actually, I descended onto the shores in Abu Dhabi. 21 years thereabouts. The journey has been amazing. There's been lots of different, education, fitness, health, prospects, training that's taken place over the last, especially the last 5 to 6 years. The industry is really starting to boom. So, yeah, throw in your questions or ask us questions. We can't wait to actually hear you guys' feedback about what's to take place very shortly.
What's about to take place? Okay, guys. So what we're going to do is how we're going to kick this off. So in 2020, January 18th will be our next one. We're going to do live panels on a regular weekly basis where we have professionals and people from around the region coming in to discuss just different things about what's been going on. And it's a great opportunity for everyone to connect with people in the public or people whether they're watching the live stream or the replay afterwards. So what I've done, I've just got the phone out to make sure that we can see comments that are coming through. So please just leave your comments, share the link and bring others involved with it as well. We're going to start this off. Really, we're going to look right back to the start of the year and just kind of go through with the lads kind of what their thoughts were in January, where they thought they would be at the end of the year in December. So who wants to kick that one off for us? We'll pass it on. For example, actually, my example being is that at the start of the year, I had aspirations actually of starting Fine for People, this platform actually in February 2019, and now we're in December. We're a year late, but that doesn't matter because at the end of the day, things happen, in my opinion anyway, things happen when they happen. They happen for a reason, and here we are now. It's happened. Enjoy the journey and moving forward from there. So I'm really excited that for myself and Fine for People, that we've actually been able to get off the ground and we'll be able to bring it to you for January 2020 moving forward. So yeah, yourselves? What's some of the highlight? What was one highlight at the start of the year? What did you think you were going to be? Where was that?
Mine is I started with January because I turned 44 at that time. So I kind of like set as my sight as a transformation. At the same time, I want to compete again by my mid 45s. So I set up a journey of personal transformation. But what I noticed is it's not only the personal kind of like touch on doing the transformation, but it also tackles or got me into a deep dive with hormones and nutrition. So that was kind of like eye opener for me. That's more of like not only the exercise, but more of like getting good sleep, all the sympathetic, parasympathetic kind of like workouts that you involve. It's not the workout itself, but it's more coming from the inside, going to the outside. That's what I kind of like.
Awesome.
My personal thing.
Yes, huh?
Well, how do you follow up on that? That's quite a lot to be thinking about in January alone. Awesome. I think 2019 was very significant in the sense that obviously everybody was starting to look forward to 2020, and obviously there's a lot happening next year. So setting the groundwork for that to happen was really important. Everybody's starting to think about Expo 2020 next year. So there's a hub of activities obviously happening over here. But for me personally, I would say January was Dubai Marathon. That was quite a big one. Obviously, that's a huge event in Dubai. It's obviously one of the biggest, if not the biggest, participatory sporting event.
Like 70,000, 80,000 attendance?
Yeah, something like that. It's really huge. So Dubai Marathon. And for me, I did my first marathon last year, and I really wanted to thank you so much.
all the time.
And I promise you, a lot of people fail to understand, especially people that don't run marathons, because they don't get it. You really have to do a marathon to understand how intricate and how tough it is. Yeah. For me, it's the ultimate in body management. For what is it? For 42 Ks. 26 miles, you have to control every single thing that's happening in your body, and there's a hell of a lot happening. Your body is pretty much going into shutdown mode, when you get to like 5-10 Ks from the finish line, and you have to control that. You have to dig really deep. For me, I would say that was really big, the Dubai Marathon, and that's basically set the tone for the rest of the year. I knew I needed to fight and really keep in shape, and it's a constant battle. It's for everybody, not just people that are competing and taking part in races. I think it's a constant battle for everybody to keep in shape, and every single morning you got to wake up, you got to get yourself out of bed, you got to get to the gym, and even even for fitness professionals like ourselves, we go through that as well. But I think 2019, the Dubai Marathon kicked it off, and obviously I'm trying to lay the groundwork for a massive 2020, which we're going to have in the city.
Totally. Awesome.
Yeah, from my perspective is looking at it from a personal point of view and also a business perspective point of view is that firstly, normally what sort of takes place in the new year is the Ironman actually takes place as well. That's a huge event that takes place here in Dubai. I've actually done a couple of Ironman myself, small Olympic triathlons as well. And this is when, from a personal perspective, is that you've got the festive season that kicks in. And with the festive season, of course, there's plenty of drink that goes around and plenty of food that goes around, but it's more of a focus-orientated thing that you really got to keep to your goals, especially if you're training for, half marathon. I think it's a 1.6 or 1.9 kilometer swim, Grant. And then you're doing a 95 95k run, 95k cycle, I believe. So Ironman, half an Ironman, sorry. So half an. Yeah. So if you're looking at that being one of the target goals for you for the new year, then stay focused, mentally and physically, of course. But from a business perspective, we run a training, fitness and health educational company. One of the first things that we wanted to do is obviously set out our goals. Also, the outer territories, focused on outer territories as well. Although we've been established here in the UAE for quite some time, it was a new beginning for us to actually really get our brand of AIKARO Sports Solutions out there. But also, the third and probably the most important thing about running the business was more to support the local community here within Dubai. But also, as you know, fitness and health has actually been pretty much an evolution. It's really starting to hit its straps now. People are quite serious about losing weight. People are quite serious about educating themselves when it comes to health and fitness in general. People are very, very serious also about making sure that longevity and health, from health and fitness, good and clean nutrition, basically moving yourselves is a key thing now. So yeah, from a business perspective.
Awesome. Let's go and look back at some of the things. So there's obviously different memories that everyone's going to have. And remember, if you have your own memories, please put them in the comments below. Share with us. We'd love to hear about them. One thing that always comes out is there's always different trends. Every single year there's a new trend. What are some of the trends, or let's say top 2 trends for yourselves that have stood out in 2019?
I think for me, it's more going back to basic. So mostly that I dwelt in this year alone is more going from what is inside. Like, we're talking about hormones. We are talking about nervous system, like going deeper than the exercise itself. So the exercise, we do everything from burpees to we exhaust ourselves. So our sympathetic nervous system are always on fire. So it's more of like the hormone that we dwelt in, and also with the high stress level, especially in Dubai, with all the social media, all the influencers, that body shaming kind of thing is stress you out from the morning till the evening. So those are the two things. One is definitely from the inside, hormones, nervous system, and then going back to basic, like simple. I just attended a summit. It's more of like just basically the shoes, like going back to basic, like flat shoes, feeling the ground itself from barefoot something. It's an eye opener again. Yes, that's for me.
Trends for this year, I would say mass participation. If you look at what's happening, and we're talking about the region and Dubai in particular where we live, if you think about it, we've had some massive sporting events. And very recently, obviously during the Dubai Fitness challenge, which is a month long, but what it illustrates is you only need to basically be active for 30 minutes a day. That's what I loved about it. And we topped it off with getting 90,000 people on Sheikh Zayed Road. Imagine 90,000 people on our main artery in the city running, albeit we didn't run all the way down, but we ran a portion of it. That was significant. I mean, I was part of that. And I think the trend, if you were to ask me, is getting as many people. I think community trends is really, up and coming, especially in the city. And this is coming from the leadership with His Highness Sheikh Hamdan. He's really leading from the front. He was even there, and you'd see him at sporting events. So I'm really thankful, for the leadership we have in this country, because they really obviously lead by example. And Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, our Crown Prince, he's so active. And he's such an inspiration to us all over here. And I think, obviously, if you have someone like that, and he's young, and people can relate to him, and I think, obviously, in that sense, so many people are now getting involved in community events. And I think that's going to be a trend moving forward as well.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Cool. Because we're in health and education, actually, when you look at trends, HIIT has been obviously a big trend. I think if you Google research and you look at the top 5 trends in the world, HIIT, which is obviously high intensity interval training, HIIT, you can get HIIT apps now, you can get high intensity interval training products out on the market now. So all these kind of HIIT kind of concepts have really come into its own. Functional training HIIT programs, for example. So this has been quite a big step for us moving forward, because everyone's really interested in that kind of concept. So yeah, this is. I think it's going to actually move into the year 2020 as well.
Yeah. It's a really good thing you brought that one up, because when I think about trends and you talk about concepts that come up, and hit training being one of them, there's a few things. I don't know if you guys saw this, but penalty box, it's a product, and it's very simple. And going back to what you were saying before, the simplicity of what's coming, it's like going back full circle again, I suppose, for a 100th time. And there's a product which is it's called the penalty box, and literally it's a square with 4 squares in the middle of it. That's the whole thing. And they've created a complete concept. They've created a brand, and they've created a movement out of this. And is there other things you've seen yourself, like being with the education side of things, that people are requesting or asking for with courses?
Yeah, small group HIIT training classes, for example. I mean, you've got a lot of boutique fitness clubs that are out there on the market now that are offering these kind of concepts. 30-minute, 45-minute workout sessions, which incorporate doing functional training, exercise, movement patterns, throwing kettlebells, throwing core bags, battle ropes. But it's all about the intensity that they want to work at now. So, I mean, if you're looking at it from a results point of view, obviously, looking at fat burning, obviously, you're looking at the EPOC system that incorporates the HIIT training program, which is exercise post-oxygen consumption, of course, just a flash word for burning calories after that kind of workout. So those kind of things are really, really huge on the market. So yeah, there's lots of different clubs or variations of these kind of HIIT programs that are out on the market now.
Is there a product that stands out for you?
For me, F45, obviously, that's a huge HIIT kind of concept that's out there on the market. And you will see that with these kind of products that people are very, very conscious about trying to get the body weight down or lose the caloric expenditure, or being able to actually really try and think about the results into this kind of concept itself. Yeah. So.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think, with the busy lifestyles and stressful lifestyles, like Coach mentioned as well, that people have in Dubai, people are trying to find quicker ways of getting their workout in, but still hitting all of those marks. So I always tell people it's quality, not quantity. You don't need to spend hours and hours in the gym. Obviously, if you're competing at the highest level, you might need to. But I mean, if I can say your average Joe or someone just looking to maintain the level of fitness, 30 minutes is okay. And I always try to structure my workouts with my clients as well. I always tell them you should be able to get the core of your workout, bar the warm up and the cool down, you should be able to get that done within 30 minutes. And if you can't, and if you don't, you haven't basically structured your workout accordingly. Or if you haven't feel as though you've gotten a fantastic workout in 30 minutes, something is wrong. So and that goes down to planning, obviously. And I think these smaller boutique gyms are doing that. They're really, really tapping into that market of people that want to get a great workout within a shorter space of time, but still not obviously neglect the core elements of a good workout.
At the same time now, people are very knowledgeable with all the apps, with all the YouTube, all the blogs out there, with the influencers and stuff, like typical podcasts. People are easy to know which is for them. They can select, like, okay, I go to F45, or I can go to podcasts that also sell like fitness apps that they're gonna do for, like what you said, minimum 30 minutes. Everybody can do that in a daily basis. And I do agree on that as well, with the leadership here in Dubai. The fitness industry is really moving forward. As 2020, I think it's gonna go bigger. We just watched the CrossFit event, and it was like booming. And it's not like CrossFit is just like lifting weights. Now they're just adding more into running and swimming, and it's more gearing out to, I think, enveloping everything in fitness parameters.
The old, keep on the strap, because it's quite interesting. I think it's one of the best memories here for 2019 when we look back at the development of the industry and the nature of people within this industry and what they're doing and what their likes and maybe their dislikes. Mass participation, I have to agree, it's massively huge, and Dubai Run was a big thing to show that people want to get active, they want to do it. I think one of the biggest things is as people are starting to understand, and even though there are things like the CrossFit Games out here at the moment, it's more about being active. the niche or the little minute and minority is the elitists. Those, you go to OCR races, like obstacle course races, you go to elite running races. The ones that are going for winning are like that top 5%, and then actually the 95% is just there to have a good time, be part of the race, be part of the fun. Which brings us to a good memory and good thought when we look back on 2019 is with you guys participate. I imagine we all participate in different events and something like that. What's one of the events that stood out for you in 2019 as a good memory?
Well, Coach, you start that.
You mentioned January 2019 and I was already thinking about the Rugby World Cup, and I know we've got some Kiwis over here. Thank God we don't have any English. Thank God we don't have any English. But I'm just saying, I'll reiterate, the Springboks, we won the Rugby World Cup. Okay. That was September, and I was in Japan for the first game in Yokohama, and we all said we were in Japan, we were in Yokohama, and after the game we shook Kiwi's hands and everything, and we said, we'll see you back on the 2nd of November. And the English just threw a spanner in the works, the English. So kudos to them. They made it to the final, but we beat them in the final. So just going back to your point, the highlight for me was being in Japan, being there for the World Cup. And then I did a Spartan race over there as well, an amazing Spartan race in Gala Yozawa, which was a ski resort, and was a 21-kilometer race. And for me as an obstacle racer, that was just, for me, the pinnacle, because we were up at about 2,500 meters. And we had a ski resort, and we were just going up and down the mountain, And Japan is so beautiful, people are amazing, and it's such a an interesting country for me. So that was my highlight, going to Japan, competing in that race, being at the World Cup, winning the World Cup. It was and it was my birthday as well in September, a few days before the race. So it was just an incredible time, and that stood out for me, And I definitely would love to go back next year for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
I'm not even going to talk about the rugby, Suleiman, but
I was gonna say it's gonna be a rugby.
I should have worn my Springbok t-shirt.
Should I go now?
well, but congratulations, man. Well-deserved winners to the box. Listen, I think we're from a rugby-mad country, of course, being from New Zealand, obviously from South Africa. Jojo's from the Philippines, of course,
silent for now.
but he's he's like a Kiwi anyway, Jojo. So in many ways, shapes, or forms. So for me, obviously, the event of 2019 was obviously the Rugby World Cup. We didn't come out with the gold.
It was the first time in Asia.
First time in Asia. First time in Asia. And obviously, there's been amazing feedback. Obviously, that was hosted by obviously the host country of Japan. And the people that actually went to the Rugby World Cup. Unfortunately, I didn't go this time. This year around. I mean, I've been to the last. Yeah, I think so.
That may be the reason.
I must admit, I've been to the last four World Cups as well. But this was the first time that I ever didn't get a chance to actually go. Must have been a reason why. But yeah.
Now you're giving your age away.
I am giving my age away. But for me, what really sticks out is probably one of the most compelling events ever, is obviously the Rugby World Cup. So, as I said, congratulations to South Africa. And to all my South African friends out there, we're coming for you guys in the next Rugby Championships. So,
well, coming out from rugby, I'm not a rugby nation, so I'm just going to talk about the CrossFit event, which you won the first time in 2012.
Not this year.
So not this year, but it was the real highlight for me to participate on the first growing of DFC, Dubai Fitness Challenge first. Then it became DCC, which is the second annual CrossFit event here in Dubai, being a participant, a judge, and now just a spectator this weekend. Was so amazing how it grew through those years, and now it has been a sanctioned event by the CrossFit community in the Middle East, which is big and amazing. in kind of way.
Super cool, super cool. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to talk about more events that we've been that happened over 2019, obviously locally and internationally as well with the Rugby World Cup. There's some many cool things that happen at the end of this year, but there's also a couple of things that happen within this group here, and we're going to talk about something that's been set up, an obstacle course race that's been set up here in the UAE, and Suleiman's a massive part of that, so he's going to tell us more about that coming up shortly, straight after this.
We've all been there, hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you've posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.
Hi guys, welcome back to Find Fit People, the platform that helps you find the best in health, sports and fitness. Today we're talking about the best of 2019. The fitness industry has grown year after year, and after many years it really has established itself as I believe one of the world leaders in health and fitness. And the reason I say that is because when you look at Dubai, people want to come here. People want to be here. People want to be a part of here. There's so many more events. It used to be you were struggling to find one event on the weekend, and now there is literally multiple options everywhere. You struggle to find a course. In fact, you have to go outside of the country to find a course, but now there's so many courses available. We tapped on before, the technology has opened up the door. The access of education is unreal. But yeah, it's what we're looking at. 2019, I think, was a fantastic year for the UAE, especially in the growth and what happened. There's some highlights like the Dubai Run, the Dubai Marathon. Spartan Races has multiple. There's now, when you talk about OCR, there's probably about, I would say, 10, maybe a dozen OCR races every single year. Government Games was another initiative, huge happening over here. So 2019 really has been a standout year. We're going back over the memories, and one of those standouts that also is if you are an OCR enthusiast, Suleiman here is going to explain a little bit more about the first permanent OCR course set up in the UAE. My man, tell us about that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. So, I stumbled on obstacle course racing. I was a runner. I was always just a runner, 5Ks, 10Ks, etc. And then in 2016, I did my first race in Jebel Ali. And I met our Crown Prince and Sheikh Mohammed as well. I was standing next to them, and I was just so inspired. And I was so terrible at this race. I barely finished it. I did so many burpees in that race. And then I was like, I'm a fit guy, why am I faring so bad at this thing? So I went down to, back to the drawing board, I should say, and tried to basically analyze what you needed to do to become good at obstacle racing. And it was a growing sort of trend at that time. Obstacle racing was coming to the fore because people found running as just being boring. I still do find running alone quite boring. And now you had to run, and you had to do obstacles, you had to jump, you had to crawl, you had to be good at climbing, you had to be good at pretty much every facet of fitness. And it's all combined in one race.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of obstacle racing. And obviously Spartan, they've done quite a lot, Tough Mudder, etc. Yeah, exactly. They've done quite a lot to spearhead this movement, you want to call it that. And I jumped onto that bandwagon and I started to compete abroad as well. And I found that competing abroad, obviously I made a lot of friends, especially in Asia. I like to compete in Asia. It's just crazy how many people show up for these races. In Asia, in Malaysia in particular, and any one of those for that matter, average 5,000 people. So, and I made so many friends. I put it on my social media. People were really, interested, to see my progress. So I showed people that I went from barely finishing the race in February, and at our race in Malaysia, in Sharjah, I came 5th in the elite race.
Hey, well done.
And that was in the space of 9 months or something like that. And I was like, wow, and then I started to compete abroad, started to get more experience, and started to get better at all of the aspects, of obstacle racing. So just to tie into that, obviously it's always been my dream to basically have a race of my own, so to say. I always dreamt about it. And in July, this opportunity came about. I quit the day job. I had a day job in Dubai, as a personal trainer.
I think we all go through that.
You will go through that, yeah. I just woke up one day and I was like, okay, I'm quitting the day job, An opportunity came about, and I knew Lena, from Aventura in Mushrif Park, which is an amazing adventure park here in Mushrif Park, and it's a gaff tree forest. It's just an incredible space. Have you guys been to Mushrif Park? Yeah. Everybody knows about Mushrif Park, and it's such a beautiful space, and it gives you that illusion of not actually being in Dubai, but you are still technically in Dubai. Anyways, I approached Lee and I said, hey, you know what? I have this idea. You've got all of the space in Mushrif Park. You have the adventure park, the zip lining, and you do corporate team building and what have you. And how about if we built an obstacle course? And she just loved the idea right from the onset, and Hadi as well. And we just ran with it, The team all came on board, fantastic guys over there at Aventura. Operations guys, carpenters, we all came together, and we mapped out this 2-kilometer course. And it all came together. And Grant, you actually did timing for one of our races, the Shaker Hind. That was the launch of this course, this 2-kilometer obstacle course, which is a mixture of desert running, trail running, and we got the obstacles, your sort of traditional obstacles like, cargo nets, tire flips, etc., And that obviously just solidified to me that there was a need for something like this. So I stand corrected, but this is Dubai's first permanent obstacle course. So we have Dubai's first permanent obstacle, because most other races, they have it at a venue, then they've got to move, and then they've got to move locations, and they might come back to the location, but it's not permanent, So we have I would say Dubai's and the UAE's first permanent obstacle course in Mushrif Park. And we actually have our first public race. We've had private sort of races, you want to call it that, for companies and what have you, and organizations. But we have our first public race on the 18th of January.
Awesome.
Okay, it's a 2-kilometer obstacle course.
Listen up.
Yeah, we want everybody to come and try this course out. Grant will be doing the timing for us.
We'll make sure you got the right results.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just going to turn it into a morning, that Saturday morning, 18th of January. We're going to turn it into a fitness extravaganza. We got Omo Fitness as our official fitness partner that's going to be doing classes, free classes over there. And there's going to be a hive of activity happening. But it might only seem like 2 kilometers, but I can assure you, Grant knows the course. It's quite challenging.
Yes.
And that's what obstacle racing is about. It's about overcoming obstacles. There's a metaphor to every single obstacle that you overcome. There are metaphors to it, You can't flip a tire. You can't climb up a cargo net. You can't climb up a rope. And in a month or two's time, you can. So metaphorically, that gives you a sense of achievement, when you're able to do something like that. And I think obstacle racing gives people that, especially people facing adversity in their life. I've seen the emotion on these people's faces, during the races. They just do not want to give up.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any other sport where you see that raw emotion coming through. So anyways, 18th of January, it's going to be in Mushrif Park. And exactly. We want everybody to come in, experience this obstacle course. It's the first of its kind, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And you can register on premieronline.com. That's one of the premier sites over here to basically register for races and what have you. And we hope to see you all over there. And, for me, this is really something close to my heart, and to see it come to fruition is fantastic.
Totally awesome. Now, drop the mic, bro. No, it's awesome and it's amazing. And I imagine at the start of the year, January, we talk about looking where do you think you're going to be in December? Did you know you were going to quit your job? Did you know you were going to do this?
Not at all. And that's what I love about the show and you bringing me on and talking about this, because in January, I was just to buy a marathon. I was going to go through the year and just copy paste what I was doing the year before, traveling and competing and what have you. And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought, number one, I would have given up, because I had the most amazing job at the face of the planet at Jumeirah Beach Hotel, and I was a trainer over there for 7 years at Talise Fitness. I promise you, I used to wake up every single morning. I used to be training on the beach. I used to put the videos on my Instagram page. I had the best job on the face of the planet, and for me, it really struck me that, and I speak to so many people today. I meet a lot of people. A lot of people don't love what they do. I don't know if you guys can agree with that, And for me, for 7 years, I woke up in the morning and I really was looking forward to going to work. And I think that was something special. And I just thought, hey, I'll just continue doing that. And obviously, like I said, when one door closes, many others open. But you have to create those opportunities. To answer your question, in January, I never even in my wildest dreams would have thought that I would have quit the day job, this amazing job. And obviously, kind of like started to do my own thing, so to say, and partner with other people. So it's just been a great opportunity. And I think, just to add to what we were saying earlier on, Dubai allows you to do that. It's such a progressive city, I think. It's young, exactly. And the leadership is so open to people doing things like this. The leadership is also open, and the business community is so receptive to creativity in this place.
At the same time, it's also a hub right now that is opening up to the market. Like, it's still young in terms of like.
We're gonna teach you how to hold it.
I'm not used to mic, so like it's a hub for fitness enthusiasts to find everything that is kind of like new, and I think the world is opening up to go like, hey, we should go to Dubai. Like, coming from an educational background, I saw in the last summit that was done here by MeFit Pro, like people that I've talked with, we're talking about lecturers from the US, UK, New Zealand, coming over here, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that there's a place here that has this thirst for knowledge and learning and all of this fitness kind of thing. And they're really excited to bring their specialty here in Dubai.
Okay, 2019. It's I just realised we've time flies past. We're having a lot of fun, right? So let's get more direct with some of these things that really stood out for us in 2019. And because it's a great thing you brought up, the MeFit Summit. I think there was 10 years it's been going on for, maybe 8 to 10 years. 16 years. Is it 16 years? Sorry, 16 years. Oh my gosh. Roll there back.
Break another Kiwi won't be tough.
Yes, right. 16. I didn't realize that's so long. And that's established itself obviously very well here. That helps trainers learn and showcases products within the region. Another one's the Dubai Muscle Show that's come out as well, and obviously Nathan, you were part of that as well. So you're presenting there, and there's so, you talk about people want to come to Dubai, people want to be a part of Dubai. We were there as well, and we saw so many people bring in different products, concepts, ideas. People that are just competing either in the Dubai Muscle Show itself, or there's some local competitions there as well. There's some influencers, Instagram stars and stuff like that. Where do you see it with... I've rested my part on this as far as my opinion that Dubai is actually one of the world leaders when it's getting people active, participating. Where it may differ is that we still need to catch up as far as the quality of education here. And I think this is going for Nathan, because being involved, obviously, educating people here, I think there's great that there's technology available that you can be educated. I think even better that you can get face-to-face workshops, and that should never ever replace online. I mean, online is there, I think, as a support system, whereas face-to-face courses are where it's at to understand, learn, and get your hands dirty. With the growth of courses, so we're looking for my question here is that, or the best of, I was trying to look at as courses, education. What are some of the best things, moments and memories or thoughts for you as far as education here in the region?
Yeah, 100%. Education, health and fitness in general is, to be honest, with the last 2 years actually has really taken off. Personally, and from a business perspective point of view, is that we've got so many people that are really interested in development. They're also very, very interested in terms of really how can they become certified. How can they become international recognized now? So we obviously know that the authority here, which is REPS, which stands for the Registry of Exercise Professionals, is the authority who sets the vocational standards here within the Middle East. We've been here long enough now. Coming from the grassroots of fitness and health ourselves, is that it's really important for people to actually be at that world-class level now. So, we've come from countries where New Zealand, South Africa, obviously, that we are very serious about our fitness professional being at a world-class level, that they're all certified, that it's recognised through a portable system now, which is how we basically got here. I mean, if you look at our qualifications that we do have, one of the reasons why we did come here is because we have international qualifications that allow us to travel internationally throughout the world. So what resonates with me the most is being able to actually have a portability international qualification system now that's in place. You're also living under umbrella where you cross-pollinate with so many different cultures. I believe there's 145 different nationalities that live here within the Middle East region.
Like only 180 countries or something?
It's like a cesspool of every culture in the
Yeah, exactly right, Georgia. But if we go back to some of our training courses that we've done over the last couple of years, is that we can be on a training course that have 15 to 20 students, and not one student is from one country. So you've got a mix of the Russians, Filipino, Kiwis, South Africans, of course, Spanish, French. So there's such a cross-pollination of people that actually live under one umbrella here in the UAE, which is the beauty of what we're about. So the UAE, in terms of versatility, in terms of having these cultures that mix with each other, is really, it's a testament to the UAE itself. How you get on with each other, how you come from different cultures, different beliefs, different religious beliefs, of course, but somehow we've all got to get on with each other.
Yeah, totally.
So I think this is what really sets us apart from any other country around the world that I've ever traveled in myself. So we're blessed to be here. We're so lucky and so fortunate to actually be in such a wonderful, visionary country like the UAE. I'm sure that you guys would agree as well.
Totally cool. I'm going to change tack just a little bit here, because there were some, obviously, milestones that were made with the Dubai Rugby Sevens, with the more international side of things. It was its 50th anniversary, which is hard to believe, 50 editions in Dubai, considering the country. There's also the Spinnies 92. That was its 10th edition this year. They did a 100-kilometre race. What other ones can we think of that events or courses or things that happened this year? There's Dubai Run, the first time it's run on Sheikh Zayed Road, was another thing that happened. Was it Under Armour Challenge? I can't remember what it was.
There's this buddy coach that did the Guinness Book of Record. Buddy coach, like so he did a world record doing an HIIT in one. I'm not so sure about the numbers though. So that was also. Just.
Yeah, that was quite significant, I would say.
Our first permanent OCR course, January the
18th.
Plug it in there. Are you guys doing the Ironman or the Dubai Marathon? Are you guys doing that?
I give it another crack. I've been trying to get it to 3:30. But here's the thing, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier about a marathon and running in particular. It's such a personal thing, and a lot of people who don't run, I would say, don't get it. Even if you do a PB and you knock off 1 second off your PB, it's worth it, because it's you against yourself. And that's what I've always loved about running. And a lot of people say, hey, you know what, you get a lot of injuries from running. I say no. It is an overused sport. You are overusing your joints quite a lot, But if you do the necessary warm-up and preparation, and you take care of your body, and you do the foam rolling, you do the massage, you do the stretching, and I'll say touch wood, I haven't really had any major injuries, as a result, because I really put a lot of emphasis, on the warm up and obviously on the recovery. So even with my clients as well, and I think just to tie that back into training, I'll say as a personal trainer, and I've been a trainer now for 19 years, and when I started, we just did, if I can call it, rudimentary workouts. We were talking about doing a warm up, doing a bit of cardio, strength work, and then stretch, cool down, etc. But now I think the personal trainer of today, if you guys would agree with me, have to have so much more in their toolbox. So much more. And clients, and like you said as well a little bit earlier, the clients are more aware now because through technology, through Google, clients know and expect so much more than just, if you want to call it that rudimentary workout. They'll be like, okay, what about trigger point? Are we going to do any trigger? And if a client had said that to me, exactly. A client had said that to me 19 years ago, I'll be like, whoa.
Well, that's the thing now. That's why I said clients are well aware. Like, for example, if they have niggles on the knee, all they have to do is probably say to Alexa or Siri, my knee hurts.
Yeah.
What to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
The amount of information, and if you're a trainer right now that has like singular, like let's say I'm just bodybuilder, or let's say you have to be multi now as a trainer. You need to have a rehab background, I don't know, Olympic in your term, running, OCRs, I'm not so sure, but you need to be multifaceted trainer now.
Yeah, I think obviously from a training perspective as well, this lends itself to so much, other courses that has been brought to the table. It's not just a matter of getting that core personal training qualification now. Now you need the subsidiary qualifications, you need the electives, as we call it as well now. And obviously through reps as well, you need to get the required amount of points. So you need the CBD points. So every single year you're going to be updating yourself. So I think from a training perspective, and I think companies like MeFit Pro are doing a great job. They're really bringing in, these professionals. They're bringing in high quality courses, and you as well, I'm sure. And obviously, as a region, as a new sort of region when it comes to fitness and progressiveness and what have you, I think a lot of people, especially from the West, want to be here. They want to come and give training courses. The amount of offers, I mean, if you look at your inbox now, you're bombarded with so many courses, from the States, from the UK, from Europe. People want to come here. They want to offer their courses. And I think that's, a great sort of, thing for the Middle East and Dubai in particular, is that we're leading the way. We're showing the world that we can go toe to toe with the West and any other part of the world, and we're willing to obviously listen. I think that's the cool thing, and especially about leadership over here as well. They're really open to bringing in professionals, bringing in people that are going to make a difference.
100%, Suleiman. Well, listen, we're not just talking about personal trainers that are just one-dimensional skilled now. So they're not just about designing programs. They're not just about being rep counters anymore. So, it's very, very specific now that you can become a personal trainer, but training education, obviously, as a personal trainer, you've got to be pretty much at your game now. So instead of just, designing program designs for the normal consumer, I mean, your clients are really looking for that cutting edge now, and that's to do with
specification.
Yeah, that's to do with nutrition, for example. That's one of the key fundamentals to actually body transformation, for example. Understanding your target heart rate percentage. So when you do put a training program together and you do prescribe weight loss management, for example, or fat burning, how do you know that they're actually fat burning?
Yeah.
So you got to be very, very specific now as a personal trainer. I mean, it's some of the things that I really sort of didn't learn when I was coming through my career as a personal trainer. Yeah. Mind you, when I did my personal training course, it was
10 years ago. 10 years ago, bro. Was it?
It was some time
ago. You still look young, bro.
So the evolution in terms of what's taking place now is that you got to be they're not looking for mediocre fitness professionals or personal trainers. They're looking for world-class personal trainers now that are out there. You guys know yourselves that we're very, very serious about about making keeping the standards at the level that it should be at now.
Totally, 100%. It was great stuff, because it's bringing me on to the next one. I thought with something we need to look at, and the trends of nutrition, the trends of technology, which is massive now these days, because everybody's doing podcasts, everyone's doing YouTube these days. We're jumping on the bandwagon too. But what I want to get at is that there were some trends, and for me, two trends that stood out big this year. One was keto happened earlier this year. I mean, again, it kind of came up. It's like there's this lull. It kind of pokes its head out, and people start talking about it. And lately, it was been the vegan diet because of the Netflix show. I don't know if we all saw, or maybe we didn't see Game Changers. Yeah.
What the health? And for me, it was what the health.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw that, I cut down on my red meat afterwards. And I'm
There
South
you go.
African, and we eat a lot of red meat. But I think obviously the show was a catalyst, and it just made me more aware of the detrimental effect. It was. Well, I'm not a vegan. No, I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegan at all. But I have cut down on red meat. I probably have it once a month now.
Okay.
I don't crave for it, you know, and I don't see that as the first option when it comes to protein now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think you know, Netflix in particular. I don't know if they're doing a bit of
Whoever paid for that
scaremongering.
movie on there, mate.
There's a hell of a lot of scaremongering that's happening out there. But for me, I don't think I was scared by what I'd seen in those two documentaries shows. I wasn't scared by it, but it just made me aware of, and then I went back and I did a trial by error sort of test, and I reduced the amount of red meat, I reduced my dairy, okay, and I replaced it. I'll just talk about my own personal sort of, and I won't advocate that someone, you know, go to the extreme and cut out red meat and cut yeah, exactly, you know, cut out dairy and what have you. But what I found personally, and I think everybody should do this, do it for yourself. Just cut it down, and that's why I love the elimination diet. If, you know, I don't even call that a diet. I think it's a great thing to do. You take everything out, and you bring one food group back in at a time, an item, you know, and then you see how that reacts in your body. And that's what I did. Nice. And then I found that when I reduced the red meat and I reduced the dairy, you know, my sinuses went away and I was sleeping better. And I know it sounds very cliche, but it's true. And obviously,
He's
I wasn't
not being paid to say this, by the way.
I wasn't being paid to say that. But now I promise you, when I have the red meat and I have the barbecue and what have you, I enjoy it so much more.
Yeah, awesome. That's the one. Some trends or technology and nutritional side for you? Something that stood out? Best of.
I think for me, I mean, on a personal journey as well in fitness, yes, I would understand that there's a balance between the red meat and vegetable, and there's advantage, of course. There's always an advantage between dairies and vegetables and red meats. Of course, any overconsumption of each side will not be balanced. For me, it's more of like having a balance, and yeah, I do understand that you have to eat more vegetable, but it doesn't take away that you also need some proteins from the meat itself.
It's a good point, because it's like, for me, sorry, not for me, but for you, what is probably the most positive influence that's happened in 2019 as far as food or nutrition or supplements?
I think for me, I cut off my protein intake, like protein shakes and stuff.
So you look a bit smaller, mate.
Yeah. So any process kind of like intakes like BCA and everything, I just made sure that I eat or I hit my protein intake and more of a natural, like if I have to eat more vegetable, eat more meat on that side too. Or
it's been a big trend, hasn't it?
Fish. But I took up processed food, and also I think it's more of like a personal thing for me, because I hit my hormone. Like I literally went to the point that for 3 months I was not changing anything, so I have to look deeper into my nutrition, and also I think sleep has to do recovery in terms of like people that are younger than me.
Yeah, totally.
I think that kind of changed on me.
There's one of the trends I saw was vegetables. People taking on more vegetables, more greens, more greenery, because of either being keto or being vegan diets, things like that. Probably of being a Kiwi, we love to eat. We love our food, and it used to be before the festive season. This probably isn't for 2019, but maybe for the last few years, have you noticed a trend in nutrition from a nutrition side or point of view around Christmas time or around the festive season time? Have you noticed any changes? Do you feel there's any changes within people's mindsets when they're coming into Christmas? Are they going for healthier options, or are they still like, flag it, I'm going to eat my red meat, or I'm going to have my drinks and stuff like that? Have you noticed anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we all know that Dubai is renowned for the brunches that they do put on.
Oh, yes.
Brunches.
In fact, we're a bit late for one. Hold on.
Yeah, if you don't know what brunches are basically there for our food overconsumption of food.
Stick with the food.
So we'll be in here long enough to actually experience one brunch or two, a couple. But people definitely don't overeat, obviously. I think from a From a nutrition point of view, is that I mean, people are very, very conscious now about their weight. Obviously, they're also very, very conscious about overeating over the Christmas period, the festive season, of course. But I think it's also what takes place after that is obviously putting in place what's going to happen for the new year. So, you know, making New Year resolutions, for example. How many people do stick to the news? This is my New Year's resolution.
Do you think they timed it? I mean, Christmas right at the end of the year before everyone makes this big change. It's like let's eat, and they die. You know, that's kind of. Do you think they planned it that way, or?
No, I don't think they do. I think it's it's just one of those things where people realize, especially being here in the UAE, that I've got to lose 5 kgs, otherwise, I'm going to be carrying that into the year 2020. Which is obviously just around the corner.
Yeah. What do you think the impact is because here in Dubai it's very different, where you've got a very hot summer during the middle of the year and you have a beautiful winter. I mean, the temperature for me at the moment I think is perfect. I'd love it to be like this all year round. Yeah, but it's like you have this consistency. Our time from, let's say, September, October through to March, April, where it's our outdoor season. That's our chance to get outdoors. You know, that's our summer. I suppose you look at it. It's technically not, but that's our most active because it's so great outside. Do you think what the effects of that on Christmas are? Like for me personally, I don't want to eat as much, or I don't want to indulge as much because it is an active season and there's so many more events coming up here in Dubai that I want to be a part of, and take my shirt off and without having feeling a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was at the gym actually having a workout this morning, but and the reason why I say that is because while I was actually looking at this beautiful scenery outdoors, I mean, there were so many people outside that were actually exercising. I mean, this is pretty much a seasonal place where you can actually train indoors and outdoors. Obviously, for the next 4.5 months, we're going to have some fantastic weather. This is when Dubai really actually shines because of the weather, because of the environment that it does offer here. But you are still seeing lots of people after that still, fill up the cafeterias. They're still consuming lots of coffees and cakes along the way. So, although they are conscious in terms of what they should be eating, it still happens. But it's not until they think, I've got to get back out into back into the gym again. So,
but I also think that we're going outside, but I think also the delivery system of the food here now, with all the talabat, all the apps, it makes people kind of like, it depends on which people are we talking about. If it's fit people, definitely they're gonna go for healthy options. But the efficiency of the delivery system here, I never seen a country like I can have talabat, I can have whatever food that I want in my doorstep in 15 minutes. Like that's so crazy. If you ask me in 5 years, would we have to do that? No, we have to go all the way to the supermarket or to the restaurant now. And here,
good question, because what are the things that technology, food technology, Talabat, Zomato, Uber Eats, Kangaroo, you name it, there's so much more technology and nutrition-wise. Let's look at, there's a lot of both sides of the coin here, but what about the positives of this, the technology side of things?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of companies, and food companies in particular, and restaurants and fast food outlets have now realized that they have to add this healthy component to their menu. And, companies like KCAL, they've obviously gained a lot of traction. I don't know if you guys can name any others, but zero fat, under 500. I was driving down Beach Road. I saw under 500 calories. Have you seen that one? I was like, wow, okay, a place where everything's under 500.
I think there's like a competition now, but is there more gyms or more healthy?
Yeah. So I think, in particular, Beach Road, which we have, which is this long road in Jumeirah. As you're driving down this road, you just have the restaurants and the cafes and what have you, the old traditional ones to the new modern ones, and you just see this juxtaposed between all of them. And I was driving down the road last night, and I was thinking, wow, we have so many options. It's like 1,000 options, if not more, on Beach Road alone. And within all of, the old sort of traditional ones, and if I can call them that, I saw a lot of healthy options. And what that indicates to me is that people are now starting to understand you have to add this healthy component to your menu, and if you don't, you're not going to survive. And then also it gives us a lot of choices. So people always say, oh no, healthy means me doing food prep at home, and I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You can go to a place and you can get something, even if you want gluten-free. Someone asked me the other day, she said, for my boss, I need to get a gluten-free cake, and I was like, what? She put me on the spot, but I Googled it and I found it immediately. There's so many places where you can buy a gluten-free cake, So I think that's also going to be a trend moving forward now. Technology is going to help food companies and restaurants and cafes and what have you to really, change the way in which they serve food. Okay, and they're going to now have to think about educating people on healthy eating, but also be a bit more transparent with regards to calories that we're consuming, and obviously any sort of GMO or anything that's going to be harmful to our bodies, because you can basically see all of that information online now. So food companies and restaurants and what have you have to be transparent. They have to put that on the app as well. They're going to tell us how many calories are inside, how much trans fat or whatever is in the food. So I think that's going to be a game changer moving forward now. You mentioned people being informed. People are going to be even more informed now. And the food companies are basically starting to realize they can't just put something out there and make it look pretty, because there's a lot. Yeah. Correct, because I was watching the other day as well, and there's this lovely program on Nat Geo, I think it's called Food Files, by the Singaporean woman, and they analyze, how clever food companies are, and fast food companies and what have you, the lighting, and most of what we see in those pictures on the fast food menus and advertisement that is so captivating. Actually, I was gobsmacked to find out that actually what you see is not real over there. A lot of that is actually fake, and they use a lot of painting on it, and just to get the image correct. So we were duped, I would say, all of these years in believing that, that fantastic hamburger, that fantastic hot dog or whatever, we had to have because it looked amazing. So I think now people are starting to realize you cannot do that to people anymore. You really have to basically be transparent. I think that's a key word for me in the nutrition world. Companies have to be transparent. They have to tell us exactly what they're putting into the food.
Well, actually, in the rise of Instagram and being influenced, like let's say for example, people that are following you, and you have this fitness journey, like what you said, you started with January, struggling with all of this OCRs, and now how did you get to this state? If they follow your story and what you eat, you kind of like influence what they want to achieve as well. Like let's say for example, you were saying a while ago that you cut your meat once a month and then you cut your dairies. So they're gonna go like, oh, if this guy can do it, what did this guy have to do to have this? And food delivery system are really going after that, influencers.
I'll just quickly intercede on what you had said. You actually picked up a very important point with regards to influencers, and I'll put that in inverted commas because a lot of people, influencers, there we are, But I always ask the question, what are you influencing? And if someone comes to me and says, I'm an influencer, okay, what are you influencing? Tell me what you're influencing, or tell me what you're trying to influence, okay? And if you bring a good case forward, I'll say, okay, I'll brand you as an influencer. But just to intercede on what you had said in people looking at other influencers and just following them. If you have a large following on social media, I think you have a responsibility. I think you guys would agree with me. You have a responsibility to basically do your research first and foremost and put proven facts out there. And don't just say, hey guys, don't do this diet, eat this, don't eat that. Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. So even myself as a trainer, I always tell my clients, don't basically follow every single word I say, because I normally always tell people, in my opinion. It's always, I got the research, I've got the facts, which are...
It's more of like a personal approach to you. Like
correct.
What I'm saying by being influenced, I didn't say you're an influencer, but it's more of like being influenced.
Thank you.
In your journey.
I'm not. I know I'm not.
In your journey. Some people are like, we can say influencer in terms of like style, passion. But what I'm saying is people are being influenced by your example. That's where I'm coming from.
And I think that's obviously where you as an influencer have this responsibility to also to also explain to people that, hey, you know what, this is my opinion, this is working for me, it might not necessarily work for you. And I love when I see influencers, fitness influencers online saying that. You'll see some influencers will do it, and most, in my opinion, won't. But a lot of them would say, hey, you know what, guys, I want to relay or basically share with you an experience that has worked for me. And when I hear that at the beginning of the video, I'm captivated, because this has worked for him. It might not necessarily work for me, but it's worked for him. And I try to do that more often than not. I always tell people, hey, you know what, I'm going to share with you my journey. I have a journey as well. I used to be overweight. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. I used to be overweight as well. Well, for a trainer, 25% it would be considered, wouldn't it? And I went through my journey as well, you know, and it's under my Instagram highlights. You can have a look at it and the transformation. And I was into bikes, and I was into coffee, and I was into chocolate and cake, all of the usual sort of stuff. And I always tell people, you have to consciously wake up one day. And that's what happened to me. You know, I was 24 years old, and I woke up and I just said, this is absolutely crazy. This can't be me, you know. I could barely even hike up a mountain. So anyways, I woke up and I was like, I need to change. And the first place I looked at was the food. And I think you talked about trends a little bit earlier. If you're not going to change your diet and what you put, your body's your temple. What you put into your body, nothing else is going to basically come good for you. You know, it's such an integral part. Is how we connect with nature, eating. You know, it's such an integral part to being a human being. Get that part right, and all of the abstract stuff would follow suit.
100%. I'm going to jump in there with you, Suleiman, because as an influencer, turn the mic off, guys.
Technology and
Technology. No, 100%. One of my biggest influences, or actually I've got a couple of huge influences, which is I go back to my mother, and I go back to my grandmother. So if I look at their longevity in life, fit, healthy, strong. My grandmother was 93 years of age, of course. So yeah, my mum is 74 right now. She still goes to do her hydraulic gym workout in the morning. She still eats her muesli in the morning. She still goes and does her power walk, and she's still working right now to this stage.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So she still goes. She still works. Yeah.
Wow.
My mum is actually a health educator on diabetes. So she has a very prominent position back home in my small little town of Whakatane, of course, in New Zealand.
In a small country at the bottom of the world.
So, you know, when people actually ask me about who is your biggest motivator, or someone that really you look up to or inspire to the most, those sort of people resonate with myself. Yeah. So fortunate enough to actually have a lot of time with my grandmother, of course, and I still have a lot of time with my dad and my mum right now. God bless them both, because they're still very able. They're still able to actually do a lot of things that most people can't do today. And a lot of it's got to do with nutrition, healthy living, healthy lifestyle, of course. And they move. They actually move more than they sit.
Yeah, awesome.
So that's the key, you know. One of those key components is obviously nutrition as well.
Awesome.
So I get inspired by my mum, and I get inspired by these kind of people. These people are who I am, or what made me who I am today.
Brilliant. The old, let's stick with that for a little bit long, because I want to find out the influences for yourselves. Obviously, mum and dad and grandma is for Nathan. Yourself?
Yeah. Mine is my dad.
Your dad?
My dad. Mm-hmm. For me, it's more of like, unfortunately, he passed away. He's the type of guy that does everything structurally. Like we're talking about 5 o'clock in the morning, he's gonna go for a walk, and even to the very end, he does his routine as I was growing up to the T. Like, let's say 5 o'clock walk or jog, then 5:30 this, and he's very structured in that kind of way, in what he has to eat and what he has to burn. Let's say, for example, he overindulged and he likes cakes. So when he overindulged, he's gonna go like, okay, I'm not gonna eat this cake, but I'm gonna walk 30 minutes more. So I kind of like compensates on that. It's an old
I thought the same
mentality.
way.
Like it's just like I'm gonna burn some more of
Yeah.
this. And until to his dying time, he's been like physically fit. Like
Awesome.
literally, I cannot beat him in basketball.
Oh, well, really? Inspired by it as well. We're going to come back to in a second. We've just got a question from Harris for Fitness. Thank you for tuning in, mate. The question is for each of you guys here. What's the biggest challenge each one of you have had as a personal trainer? I'm not sure if that's for 2019. Let's try for 2019, or if you can't think of 2019, think of the biggest challenge you've had as a personal trainer.
For me and for what we do right now is obviously being able to actually bring the standard of personal training to the level where it should be now, and that is being number one, being international qualified. Number two is being able to actually go through the right channels in terms of authorization now. Number three is being able to deliver the promise of being able to actually become a personal trainer that you literally change people's lives, not only just physically but mentally as well, emotionally as well. So these are probably the biggest challenges that we still face today, and I think we're starting to get there. It's a slow process. As I said before, I've been there for 20 years now, and we still get personal trainers today that, for example, number one, discipline. Discipline for me is obviously of the utmost. I'm still seeing personal trainers on the gym floor that still use their mobile phones or they answer their mobile phones. It's one of my biggest pet hates, of course. So get off that phone. If a client if a client has actually paid for your service for your 1 hour, then you pay 110% focus to your client.
Just talking about the phone, if you actually have a look around the room, there's probably about 4 or 5 phones. Lead by example.
So I'm going to leave you with that thought there. That's one of my standards in terms of making sure that our personal trainers are delivering their sessions, but just paying attention to the client and making sure that they have 110% focus on them.
Yeah, challenge as a personal trainer, I would say for me personally over the years, one of the biggest challenges is when someone comes to you post-surgery and someone has injured themselves, they've had surgery, and you obviously trying to get them back on that road to recovery, and to 100%. Because you've really got that's a curveball, isn't it? And you've got to change your original plan. Okay, because you had this amazing plan for this person to do this race or to accomplish this, and all of a sudden, someone goes and plays football, which I absolutely loathe, because I think football is the most dangerous sport on the face of the planet, aka soccer. That's what I always say. Rugby has its injuries as well, but for me, over the years, I've seen football and soccer, bringing so many more injuries to people. So don't play football, soccer. But I'll just say, if someone is injured, they come to you. For me, that's quite a challenge, because you need to obviously address that issue. You need to change your original plan. You need to start liaising with this person's physio, obviously, if they've been doing physio. And that network becomes really important. Exactly. And I think that in Dubai as well, that's becoming quite progressive, where people are starting to do referrals. I work very closely with a certain client and a physio, and we're all working together. We're all sharing information, and I think that's become quite prominent moving forward now. And I think that's the way to go. Personal trainers, yeah, absolutely. If someone and one of your clients is seeing a physio, please call that physio. Have that direct line of communication with that physio.
Boom. _180 fitness.
So get the lowdown from the physio. Incorporate that into your workout. Please don't work independently. Work together. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's an add-on from both of you, actually. First, the challenge is raising the standards. Like, we have lots of freelance personal trainer, and I'm not saying that they're not good, but some of them are really not qualified to even touch you, train you, and most of all, to be in the gym. Like, literally, when...
That's what you find challenging?
I am challenged by that. By why? because people should be educated enough to find a trainer, not because of the value of the money that they're paying them, but the quality that the trainer is providing them. Because two parts, I'm a physio as well, a sports physio, boom, underscore 180 fitness. No, but what I'm encountering in my department is people are coming up to me and saying that I got hurt doing this kind of exercise. Then of course, being a personal trainer as self, being here in this industry for that long, I kind of know the people that are in other gyms. Kind of, it's a small community. Everybody knows everybody. So when I hear like, do you have a personal trainer? Yes. So how come that you got injured? That's my first question as a sports physio. Why did you get injured? If this is your trainer and he was supposed to be looking after you.
Injured in the gym.
Well, not only the gym, but whatever they're doing, right? Especially if you have a trainer, that like what you said, if he was not filming you or doing the mobile, you should not be injured in the first place. It's kind of like, how do you get injured if you have somebody taking care of you?
Actually, before you guys jump into this, because it's actually a good question by Ataya bin Tarek. He's asked a question: what qualities, or what qualities makes a professional personal trainer?
Yeah, what qualities makes a
Professional personal trainer.
a professional personal trainer?
And I'm sorry. I suppose you mean by this question there, what makes these top guys show up and stand out from the rest? The qualities.
Yeah, one of the things that stands out for me for a top personal trainer is that they're always in the game of self-development. They're progressive. They're always looking at the cutting edge as to what's going to actually differentiate them from one personal trainer to another personal trainer. So they're always in the game of learning. When you think you know everything, you're going to fall and crash and burn straight away. Absolutely. I mean, we're in a fitness industry where we're part of evolution. I mean, let's think of the first stationary bike that was ever brought out, and then we think of what the stationary bike looks like now. They've added handles to it. They've got, I believe they have a button you can push down. It gives you AC and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I mean, back in the day, we can remember what this first stationary bike looked like, you guys. So, you know.
It's like all steel.
Dynamo.
Yeah. So this is for me. This is what really stands out as one of the components as to what makes a top personal trainer.
Absolutely, definitely. I think what's really important from a trainer's perspective is for you to define who you are as a trainer and what you're able to offer, and that entails being truthful and being true to yourself. So if you're true to yourself and you know that you have a certain type of personality, because I'm sure you guys would agree, I'm a bit of an extrovert. That's how most people know me. I'm out there, getting people excited. But I do have my private life as well, and I'm pretty much of an introvert when I'm not basically working. I like to be alone. I like to, I do the Netflix, etc. So I do have that. So I think what's really important is define who you are as a trainer. But the most important thing, I think, is for you to be able to change someone's attitude at the beginning of the session and at the end of the session. So when someone walks in, 9 out of 10 times they've come from work or they've been doing something stressful, and I've seen it, for the last 19 years, people walking like this. And I took that up every single session. I take that up as a challenge for me to get someone to, who's walked in like this. And when they leave, oh, wow, cool, see you next week. And if you can do that in one session, 1 hour, and I always tell people, no shrink in the world can do that, in my opinion, because you need to have multiple sessions for that person and Prozac and what have you, for that shrink to get you from this to like, hi, good, I love life, But we have the opportunity, and if you're really good as a trainer, you'll be able to do it in 1 hour. Now, how do you do that? That's obviously the ultimate question. How do you do that? By really being attentive to your client, by obviously adjusting and being by being, not being rudimentary. So you got your plan, okay, but you must be able to change that plan if you see someone walking like this. You must, okay, forget about that. Let's go outside. The weather's amazing. Let's go for a jog. So adaptability, I think, is the key when it comes to being a top trainer, number one. And number two, if you're able to, and I always watch trainers in the gym as well, how they interact with their clients. If they're having fun, if the client is having fun, you got a big tick from me as a trainer. Let people have fun. I can't think of any client in this world that wouldn't want to have fun. If there are any of those clients out there, if you have any of those clients, let me know. But I haven't met a single client who said, I don't want to have fun. Clients want to have fun. They want to escape. This is their opportunity, and that's why they're paying you. They want to have this opportunity, albeit for 1 hour in their 24 hours, alongside their stressful jobs and lives and being parents and what have you. They're paying you to basically let them escape all of that. And that's a huge responsibility, and I've always taken that on board as a huge responsibility. And people tell me, I've had so many clients tell me, hey, you know what, you're not just my trainer, I come to you to basically turn my day around. And that's heartwarming when I hear that. So I would say, how does the cream of the crop, in terms of trainers get up there? By being adaptable, by listening to your clients, by allowing people to basically transform themselves through their own actions. Not just what you're doing. So I don't want you to be, I want you to be inspired by me, but I want you to have your own journey. I want you to document your own journey. I want you to revel in what you are doing, but also I want you to basically tell me, okay, what I need to do for you to basically go from this to like, wow, awesome. Tell me, and I think the good trainers are able to get that information out of people like this. Yeah, for me.
I think a great trainer, or we can say what separates a good trainer to a great trainer is the summation of both of what you just said. First, the standard of education, which is the backbone of any trainers. Two, having the passion of having fun. Third is seeing a person for who he is or who the client is, being holistic mentally. You can be like, how to improve his mood, like what you said. Second, how could he have fun during the workout? Third is, how could it be an experience for this person? Not just an exercise, an experience for him for 45 or 1 hour. And then he will come back because he enjoyed that experience. A journey, like what we all do. As a personal person, as a personal thing, for me, it's a journey from day one until to the end, wherever that is, like 2 months, 3 months of our exercise. It's been a journey, and it has to be a memorable one. This is like a journey that I will always remember you because you have put value in my life. Whatever, in terms of relationship, in terms of physical achievement, whatever. It's a journey. At the same time, you added value in me, and that cannot be paid by money alone.
Totally. There's, I'm going to jump on that one with 30 seconds of this. When it comes to education, there are so many different types of education out there. When it comes to people, there's so many different types of people out there. That's the wonderful thing about life and the journey of it. And to be able to adapt to these people is fantastic. Now, with the two questions we've got here, I'm going to put them into one because I found that what makes the most quality trainers are the ones that can let go. And I'll explain that in a second further. And also the biggest challenge I find that I had at the beginning of personal training was being able to let go. And what I mean by letting go is you as a trainer, if you're not qualified in the area, you're not the best for that person, then you should let them go. Either develop your education so you become better, all right, or just let them go, because if you don't let them go, then you're not being true to them, you're not being real with them, you're not giving them the best opportunity. But what happens that by being honest like that, I believe in myself that it creates more networks, it creates more respect for you as a trainer because the transparency is there, the honesty is there. And so the biggest challenge is don't be scared of, what's that word I'm looking for? There's abundance out there. Right? There's abundance of trainers. There's always so many clients. People always go like, I'm going to keep training my client on and on and on and on and on, and they don't really get them the results they need to get. But if you get them the results within 6 weeks, they're going to have a massive experience, have a great experience. They may not stay with you, but you've given them a life-changing experience. And I guarantee you they'll either use you again or recommend you to others because of what you helped them achieve. So the biggest challenge was when I was starting off was to let go, and I've quickly learned that. For me, when I personal train, or if I don't personal train these days, but my thing is to go from A to B, get them there, You know, right? If B to C comes up later on, it comes up later on. But as long as they achieve what they need to achieve, and if I can help them, great. If I cannot, I'll pass them on to someone else. Or that. All right, so that's kind of the Tayo and Harris that answers your guys' questions. We've got about a few more minutes. I thought, maybe 30 minutes we'll be around here. It's about an hour 20 later. It's all good. But the idea, we've probably got a little bit off track, but it's in a good way. It's the best of 2019 in the UAE fitness industry. So what I want the ladies to do is to sum up maybe the top three. Just bullet point the kind of top three memories that stand out, whether it be an event, a trend, an occasion, personal development, or anything like that. I'll give you guys a few seconds to think about theirs. Or does anyone else, do you want to shoot off, or should I just say mine? There we go. So just for three things that highlighted for me in 2019 as far as what stood out with the industry is the continuous growth of the industry, more people being more active, more, and I don't mean just by attending, but I mean by more events, more courses, more attending to shows. The exposure in the industry, that's what I mean by more attending. That's one. Number two is personal development. I've actually been able to get 5 for people off the ground. I have a launching to you guys. And the third one for me, 2019, I think in the fitness industry it's been a real big standout, is the education that's here in the region. It's available to everyone, and everyone available, whether you look online or outside the country. It's all come in here, and the growth of that really is one of the big highlights for me in 2019.
Mine is sum it up to 3. First is, yes, education. Second, technology. And third is the exposure and the growth of the fitness industry in this region. Just those 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I definitely agree with both of you. Dubai is such a hub, and that's why we love living here. When I came here initially, I said I was only going to be here maybe for 6 months. Yeah, and then that turned into 1 year, and now it's turned into 7.5 years, going on to 8 years, And I think Dubai has that effect on people. People always talk about Dubai growing on you. When you come here, oh my God, everything is crazy, the driving, etc., etc. And once you overcome all of that, for me, in my opinion, this is the best place to live. I love living here because of the progressiveness of the city. And I think in terms of fitness, and I'll say this again, time and time again, it's because of the leadership, and obviously the fact that they are so open and so approachable, to the fitness industry expanding in this region, And look at Saudi Arabia now, in particular. Look at the region, having the heavyweight boxing, title the other day, yeah, exactly. So the whole region is so susceptible to sport and sporting events and what have you. It's only going to get bigger and bigger. And I just think Dubai, where we are now, and the trends that are happening in 2019, moving forward into 2020, and as we head to Expo 2020, is obviously getting the entire nation active. This is really, a government initiative and a mandate that's been set to all people, working in government sectors as well, that are involved in the fitness industry. Look at Dubai Sports Council, an amazing organization and a government entity, and they pretty much at every single event they are so supportive, of the sporting industry and what have you. So all that I'm saying is, sporting trends for 2019, mass participation. I think we're going to see a lot of that moving forward into 2020, and also the rise of people off the couch. I've heard of so many people, and when I go to races now, that's why I love going to races. People come up to me and talk to me. A lot of people say, hey, what, I've seen your Instagram page. I was so inspired. That makes me happy. And one guy actually came to me and he said to me, you know what, you got me off the couch. I was in Oman, and yet, you know what I mean? And Yathri, my good friend over there, he came to me and he said, I've been watching your videos, for a year or two, and you got me off the couch. And I was like, for me, that was the most heartwarming thing. So I think I'll go back to social media just quickly to end off. Social media, if you are in a position of influence, use that in a positive manner, not just for yourself. Use that to inspire many people. And you can do that now with technology, But I'll just quickly, if you don't mind, 10 seconds. Okay, I'll just quickly tell people this, And for me, one of the highlights was being in Japan, and I've always had an obsession with Japan. And I'll tell you why. Many years ago, I read a book called The Okinawa Way. It's basically where they did a study on Okinawans, who were the longest living people, not anymore because of fast food chains that have gone onto the island. They're the longest living people in the world. And it was a 25-year study. It's a great book. If you can ever get this book, it's called The Okinawa Way. Anyways, they did a study on these people to see why they were living on average to the age of 116 or something like that. It's crazy. And it's because their diet was mostly fish, obviously. But the most important thing, their stress levels was the lowest. Okay, they had no stress. They were working in the garden. At the age of 100, they were still working in the garden. They were up, they were active, but they were happy. They were happy and content. Yeah, and that's really important elements. And I was in Japan in September. Our waiters were 90 years old. The housekeepers were 85 years old. Their life begins at 60. Here in the West and what have you, 60, I'm retired, that is it. In Japan, their life begins at 60. You see that, you see that youthfulness in people. And I think that's really important. Age is nothing but a number. Okay, and it's never too late to start something. So do a bit of research, get in contact with professionals, people that are good at certain things, and say, hey, you know what, I know you're good at triathlons. Can you maybe give me some pointers and some tips? Be humble enough to go up to people and ask for help. Yeah, and I think that's going to be a trend moving forward. Yeah, and is that people through social media, through going live streaming and what have you, we're now able to, impart that information and give people our tips on how we actually got to that point. So if I'll say it again, as an influencer, just impart that knowledge and share with people how you actually got to that point, but also say to people that this is my journey, you need to create your own journey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amongst royalty here because these guys here have been...
We are amongst royalty, my friend.
In the fitness industry for some time now. But I always turn it around and I ask myself, and in fact, I ask my students, I ask people like you guys, what are we going to do to help? So, and when I look at that question itself, I always think about when I first landed here in the UAE in 1999. And to be honest with you, is that the UAE is still in a position now where one of the founding statements that Sheikh Mohammed did say is that he wants to make the nation a fitter place. So if you look at that sentence by itself, it's how are we going to help? How are people, the influencers, going to help? How are people coming into the fitness industry, those people who are already in the fitness industry, those people who are already qualified, who are international certified, how are we going to help and contribute to making the nation a fitter place? We also know and understand that if we look at the population in general, is that type 2 diabetes is on a high. We live in a society, in a community where statistically is that type 2 diabetes is one of the 36%, is a very high percentage here when we live in a population where nutrition is a contributing factor, for example. Lack of movement is another contributing factor. So I leave you at that sentence again. How are we going to help? How are we going to contribute to this? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, we have a training provider business there. We have influencers like you guys that are here now. And this is something that we've got to take the bull by the horns, and we've got to keep on contributing back to the community by doing fitness events, by offering outdoor circuit or races. Jojo being from a physiotherapy background, Grant being an influencer by offering these conversations, these talks that educate the public and the community itself. So, this is really where I stand with this itself. Is we're guardians. We're guardians to look after this fitness industry, but we're also guardians to make sure that we pass this knowledge on to the next generation.
Yeah, man.
And I go once again. I leave you with this question: how are you guys going to help out there?
Massively. Awesome. Very good. Something for you guys to think about out there. Leave your comments, leave your questions in the comment section down below, and at one point, absolutely, we'll come back to you. If you want to get a hold of each of these great, wonderful men, how do they do it?
Mine is, I have my Instagram, boom_180fitness.
My Instagram, Dubai Personal Trainer. Yep.
And our Instagram is at AIKARO Solutions.
And it's 8, just so you can see it down below. It's on the shirts. Cool. Guys, that wraps us up for looking back on 2019, I'd like to thank my guest brothers for coming and joining us today. It was a great discussion. As I said, we only thought 30 minutes was what I was thinking, but there's so much information out there. There's so much to discuss. There's so much to talk. And with Fine for People launching in 2020, January 2020, we're very, very excited to bring you these discussions on a weekly basis. In fact, January 18th, we want to basically be able to connect with you so you can interact, ask the questions that you're asking, talk with others, and engage with people that, like Suleiman was saying before, like getting education off people, understanding, imparting knowledge, providing knowledge, or even sharing knowledge more importantly as well. It's not just about giving, it's also about receiving and understanding. And so that's what Fine for People is all about. So coming in January 2020 is the Fine for People platform. And to give you a summary of it, simply find professionals, find events, and find courses. That's what the platform's all about. And then these talks to go with it as well. So look out for that. There's a little snippet at the end of this broadcast to explain a little bit further. In fact, you'll be able to find all of Nathan's courses from AIKARO that's going on in there, all the events from Suleiman that's happening in there, and I'm sure we're going to have more and more talks with our brother Orlando here as well. So from myself, Grant Goes, thank you guys for joining Fine for People. The platform helps you find the best in health and fitness. Have a very festive and Merry Christmas, holiday season, and Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2020.
We've all been there, hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you've posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.